Hey there, friends. It's Octavian back again. This is going to be another episode of Challenger Cast, as you can tell by the names on your screen there. That's going to be Geranimo, just rushing into the lane on Caitlyn, and I know the last cast I uploaded had him in it as well, so I don't know. Perhaps I'm giving special preference to Geranimo. Probably. Just, just coincidence, though. Escher taunting on that Mundo. Mundo is probably my favorite skin. It's like Mundo, but you know, instead of the Mundo, it's Mundo. It's genius, honestly. Fragus and Geranimo facing off against each other. I don't know if Fragus knows that Geranimo is in that bush there. He's sitting around. He's waiting for his team maybe to flank around onto this Jarvan. Looks like he's inching back towards his own jungle then. He's debating on whether to go for this invade, and there's the ping actually on the bush, so he knows that somebody's in it. He doesn't want to keep on walking. He's going to take a pilt over Peacemaker as he heads out of the jungle, but that's not such a big deal. He'll be alright. Better than the situations it could have turned into. He could have found himself in a very rough spot there if he had chosen to go full on with that one-man invade into the enemy jungle. And we have a little bit of a quieter time before the game actually begins to start here. Looks like Fragus is going to be starting at the Krug camp. While on the other side of the map, we have the Lee Sin choosing to start at the Gromp. Or actually, no, his own Krugs as well. They're way on the other side of the map. He's starting at the Krugs. So both junglers starting at the Krugs going to probably have fairly similar clear times. Lee Sin might be able to clear a little bit faster than Jarvan, if only because of lower cooldowns. And it's going to be Annie bot playing Annie in the bottom side of the map there, along with Doc XM's Graves, facing off against a Caitlyn and a Sona in the form of Geranimo and Xtot. Promises to be a very interesting lane down here. I particularly still love Annie's support, even though she's kind of fallen under the meta ever since, I believe it was Season 2 when she really came into her prime. Since then, she's kind of just seen a slow decline until, at this point, she's very, very rarely played. Pretty much only specialists play Annie in any capacity, really. She's not really a mid laner either at this point anymore, at least not in the standard meta, competitive meta. In solo queue, you can see anything, especially in higher level solo queue where there are specialists for pretty much every single champion, and today we're going to be seeing Annie bot probably playing a very, very good Annie, seeing as, well, I'd be surprised if he was bad at the champ if he had managed to main it all the way up to this thing. Reap 22 and Escher are going to be taking up the top lane as Vladimir versus Dr. Mundo. Very high sustained lane up there. Probably going to be a lot of farming going on. Probably not too much killing, since neither one really has any solid CC. Dr. Mundo really the only one up there that does. He has that slow, though actually I believe Pool of Blood does technically slow if somebody's inside of it. It's not the most effective form of CC, but I guess I can't technically say that Vladimir doesn't have one. And it looks like Escher is actually getting traded down in terms of hit points, but he's doing pretty well in terms of CS, and he does have health potions and, of course, Mundo's passive to be able to keep him pretty well off in terms of hit points in the lane. Annie bot taking a net and a pill over Peacemaker, while up in the top lane, Fragus going for the first gank. Just lands an auto attack onto Escher and then leaves. Flag and drag. Didn't actually get the knockup. Farming still going on up here, as the one lane we haven't really touched on yet is that middle lane matchup. It looks like Fragus actually roaming near there. Lee Sin's right on the other side as well. Lee Sin is looping around here. He's coming into the lane. He lands the Q. About 2-2-2. He's forced to flash away. The Ignite is burning onto him, so that's going to be an Ignite traded for a flash between the mid laners here, as Lee Sin manages to get to the gank just before Jarvan is. And with that Ignite down, that's going to mean there's a lot. Actually, no, heal got burned too by Xerath, so I was about to say about even kill pressure going both ways now with the Ignite traded for the flash, since Xerath doesn't really need to be that close to the minion wave to keep on farming, but without the heal as well, I would say that definitely went very much in favor of King of Poros Ahri. But Fragus is still here in the mid lane. Tersh Dom is here as well. He's chasing towards Fragus under the tower. He does a lot of damage. Those Lee Sin combos early on can be incredibly powerful. And he's going to go ahead and invade into Fragus' jungle. He has no real enemies to fear right now. He knows where the bot lane is. They're getting pushed under the tower. Xerath is way too low, has no summoners. And Jarvan, he just bullied Jarvan way back to his tower, so he has no fear invading in onto that raptor camp. And Looks like they're still dancing around, trying to, like, just each grab as many of the little tiny raptors as they possibly can, and I think 2 of them went over to Jarvan, but the large one did go to Lee Sin, so that means it's going to be I would call that a successful invade on the side of Dom. Antibot taking a little bit more harass, and XTO4, it's hard to tell, has indeed kept a very good job of harassing in the lane down there. Playing that Sona pretty much exactly the way that she's meant to be played, especially 3-6. But Fragus is coming in here. He's going to be landing the knockup on Geranimo. The Chilling Smite, rather, going to be slowing him up as well. But Geranimo does enough damage that he's forced to flash away back into the bush just to break vision and escape here. Now Antibot is going incredibly low. The speed buff, ooh, the enhanced power core is going to be slowing her down. She flashes away under the tower. Jarvan and Annie escaping with under 100 hit points left, both of them flashing away, but I mean, while they didn't die, it was a 2v3 that got turned around and they were forced to use their summoners just to survive, when really they were the ones who should have been coming out pretty much on top in that situation. Well played by Geranimo and XTO4. Yes, that's what it is, XTO4. Reap 22 taking another cleaver, and he's actually getting traded down pretty low. He's standing right in the middle of him anyway, but I don't know why he's fighting this. He goes in with the pool. He has Lee Sin around the corner as well. He doesn't know that, but King of Poros has roamed to the bottom lane. Fragus is getting charmed up, and here is XTO4. He's coming in, but he gets stunned by Antibot, and Fragus might want to go in here. The Ignite is burning. XTO4 flashes away. He uses the speed buff as well. The Q lands, and there's the ult from mid lane. Xerath going to be picking up the kill on the very, very low health Sona, sniping her out with the first shot of Right of the Arcane, while up in the top lane, first blood actually happens just before blue team can secure it on the bottom side of the map. Vladimir going down up there, giving the kill over to, it was Lee Sin roaming out of the jungle, so finally one of his ganks worked out for him, though I suppose the other ones did work out. I mean, he got summoners in pretty much all of his other ganks, however, one of them actually working out in terms of giving him a kill, finally. I don't know, sometimes when I'm playing the jungle and I keep burning summoners, I keep giving good pressure, getting good vision, but never getting a kill, it just feels like even though I'm doing my job well, I'm just missing out on something. And it's always gratifying to be able to pick up that kill finally. Looks like he's going for another one here. He flashes away from the stun, he goes ahead and Dragon's Rage kicks him right into the charm from King of Poros. The auto attack from Ahri going to be finishing off that last tiny little bit of health that's there at that remaining. He had no way out of that. As soon as Dom flashed the stun, he was condemned to death right there. He's Reap going at the mano-a-mano up in top lane with Escher once again. Escher, he actually is forced to pop the masochism, or sadism rather, to keep himself sustained in the lane, but it's not a very long cooldown, and honestly, I see quite a lot of Mundos use that as simply a lane sustain tool. It does give a speed buff, so in fights it can be useful. And I don't know about, I guess he did see that Ahri was in the river there. He does have that warded, so he knew that Ahri had roamed up through the river. So he knew that if he had been hit by that slow, he was very possibly going to be charmed up thereafter by an Ahri spirit rushing in. So that's why he chose to pool the cleaver. Normally you don't want to just pool a cleaver if it's going to hit you and there's no other consequence, because the cleaver does not do as much damage as the pool does to yourself. Vladimir's pool actually does cost a large percentage of his own hit points to be able to cast. Well, indeed, any of Vladimir's spells cost some of his own hit points to be able to cast, but the pool is probably the most expensive. Actually, no, Hemoplague, his ult doesn't. His ult has no cost, but technicalities. Looks like Escher's going to keep on farming with the cleavers up here in the lane. He's still got a lead, which is a little bit interesting because it seems like Reap is doing quite a good job of keeping him harassed away from the minion wave, keeping him down below half health, but he can just keep farming with the cleavers, so he's managed to keep the lead that he gained earlier, but Fragus is going right in with the Cataclysm on to Curse Dom. But it doesn't really seem to matter. They have way too much damage for this 2v2. Meanwhile, Antibot is getting stunned up by the Crescendo down in the bottom lane. Doc XM does manage to body block the ulti from Geranimo that would have killed Annie, but he flashes forward anyways. The headshot going to be primed just in time to finish off the double kill. Geranimo getting incredibly far ahead on that Caitlyn. I already had a 30 CS lead, or 33 CS lead. Now he's got 2 kills to stack on top of that. This is going to be a very, very dangerous lane for blue side. Oh, Hemoplague dropped going under the tower. There is the pool to dodge some tower aggro, and the pop is going to be enough. Vladimir picking up the solo kill against Mundo in the top lane. As Dom takes the blue buff. Probably going to give that over to King of Poros unless about 2-2-2 can divine that it is happening and try and steal it, but it doesn't look like he's going to want to spend Rite of the Arcane for the chance of picking up blue. And actually, no, he didn't have Rite of the Arcane up. So maybe he did want to spend it, but he didn't have the opportunity to, even if he wanted to. So blue going to be going over to Ahri in the mid lane. Good place to have it, as Doc XM and Antibot go ahead and do the Krug camp, which is a useful tool for getting back into a lane if you're behind and the lane is pushed up to a place that's too dangerous for you to stick around at. Because the lane was pushing up towards the river, perhaps they don't really want to hang around that far up into the lane, so they can go ahead and make use of their time, because in this game you always want to be doing something. There's very, very few times where you want to simply be standing around. Perhaps if you're like 5 gold away from an item and you just went back to base, something like that, then maybe it's justified. But it looks like we have another gank up in the top lane. The knock up does land from Fragus's Jarvan. He pops the ulti and then goes right into the Cataclysm. Escher is running around in circles. He has a ton of health regenning though. He waits it out. He manages to stick around long enough for the Cataclysm to actually break. But the stun is here from Antibot. The slow from Reap's cool. And for once, that CC from Vladimir is actually going to matter quite a bit. Escher going to be falling over once again as Vladimir picks up the second kill of the game. And I'm sorry about the frame drops. I thought I had fixed the issue with Fraps, but every few weeks it just seems to pop up with another one. Antibot flashing away from the charm actually manages to get the 2v1 kill as support Annie against Lee Sin. Well done. I don't have another phrase for that. That was very, very well done. Beautifully played from Antibot. Too bad he still went down afterwards, but that was the best of a bad scenario. Reap still pushing up in the top lane, is getting kind of collapsed upon here though, and he doesn't have any wards spotting this out. Ahri is roaming into the lane and he's between the two towers. Mundo's coming in to sandwich him from the base side. The charm lands from Reap and Reap turns back around. He's going to be doing some damage to King of Pearls. Maybe he has enough before the others show up to be able to get his kill back, but no, that is not going to be happening. He's going to be pulling, but the Ignite is still ticking. He has no way to get health back with that grievous wound sticking on him from the Morellonomicon. Sorry, it wasn't actually an Ignite. They have the same image, so sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell, but it was indeed the Morellonomicon passive as anybody. Ooh, he gets caught out in the jungle by Cursed Dom. The crescendo actually misses! What? XTO4 missing the crescendo entirely. It whiffs, just goes right off to the side, and so Antibot walks right out of there. Not very many hit points left, but hey, it wasn't zero. You don't see that too often in this level of play, but sometimes even the best can misclick, and yeah, that's a little bit disappointing, especially for XT04. We swap back to the middle lane here, where it looks like Frag is going for another gank. The knock it up does not land. Still forces the Spirit Rush away, though, and then back in. The Ignite has been dropped. King of Pearls is going on the offensive here. The Ignite is going to burn him to death, and meanwhile, Cursed Dom is going to be going down to about 22's damage, but not, well, actually, yes, before he falls, but just right before he falls. Xerath exploding into lots of tiny little pieces. 2-for-1 trade in favor of Red Team. Doc XM and Antibot standing around in the middle lane might be able to defend this turret. I really don't think that they can take this fight, though. They can safely defend the turret, though, seeing as Spirit Rush is down, as is Crescendo for a good amount longer because of that unfortunate whiff earlier on. Does mean that they can easily defend this turret, and the other team doesn't really have anything with which to continue to pressure them. But hey, they got a 2-for-1 trade, and it's okay to back off after that. Sometimes it's good to take an advantage and then simply leave. I mean, if you can turn it into more advantages safely, sure, but if it's an unsafe proposition to do so and it's going to give your enemies a chance to come back into the game, there is no reason to do that. You never want to give a team that's behind a chance to come back into the game, because if you have a solid lead, there's not very many ways to outright lose this game to somebody else outplaying you unless you made a mistake first. It's usually when somebody is behind, they have to rely on the enemy making some kind of slip-up for them to be able to get back into the game, especially at this level of play where basic mistakes are not very common. Piltover Peacemaker clearing the wave up in the top lane, and it looks like the top lane has become the realm of 80 carries. Doc XM is pushing up against Geranimo, and Antibot's actually roaming in from the river there. You might see a little bit of a collapse up in the top lane, pings for assistance, but down on the bottom side of the map, Escher and Reap22 are going at it. Fraggus was in the bush though, and Escher didn't know that, and there's XTO4 coming from the side. It's a 2v2 right now. Reap is nearly going down, but Escher is going to be taken out. by the burst damage from Cataclysm. Meanwhile, Fragus and Reap 22 are still a bit caught out down in the lane here. Cursed Dom fires off the Q, but it doesn't quite connect because of the pool of blood. Reap 22 is just trying to delay as long as possible, allowing for Fragus to escape on Jarvan, being the hero that he is. Oh, Anti-Caliber Net gets him in range for the headshot. Another few auto attacks, and there's the Piltover. Doesn't matter that he flashed and healed, because he still had the ace in the hole as an ace up his sleeve. Meanwhile, Antibot has Ignite, though, as well as Tibbers. Go get him, Bear. Annie doesn't need to fight this fight herself. She's just going to send a Bear to do the job for her, and as she dies, fires off a final Q, picks up the kill onto Caitlyn. But meanwhile, King of Burrows and XTO4 have been pushing the mid lane. They've got it down very, very low. I don't really think that Fragus, Jarvan all by himself without any mana is going to be able to defend this here. Actually, he's nearly going down. If Ignite or Spirit Rush or indeed pretty much anything of any of the large cooldowns had been up for King of Boros, he probably would have been taken out there. And I don't mean taken out to dinner. I mean the bad kind of taken out. Yeah, sure, split pushing the top lane, and this game as a whole, I would have to say, pretty much decidedly in favor of Red Team, but not so decidedly in favor of Red Team that it's in the bag. Blue Team still has a good few routes back into this. They've got quite nice AoE team fight. They have the huge amounts of AoE burst that a Graves can put out over the CC that the Jarvan and Annie can drop onto people, and the Hemoplague, which is an oft overlooked, incredibly powerful team fighting spell. It actually doesn't only, a lot of people seem to think that it only increases the damage that Vladimir is putting out towards the target affected by Hemoplague. No, when someone's affected by Hemoplague, they take 20% increased damage from all sources which damage them. Which, for a team fight, if you land it onto multiple people while they're being damaged by multiple other AoEs, is incredibly good. But Geranimo caught way out of position in the bottom lane. 4 members of Blue Team sent to deal with that man. And they deal with him quite nicely. Going to be going for the dragon right after. Actually, Dom had started it, kind of trying to sneak it before Blue Team turned their focus onto it, and XTC4 gets the kill. I did not expect Vladimir to go down that quickly. I'm not entirely sure where all the damage came from, but it just seems to be rolling onwards and onwards like some kind of avalanche of team fight right into Blue Team. They are losing members left and right, dropping like flies, and about 2-2-2. That tower is not enough to protect you from a Mundo. Perhaps the heal might keep him alive. No, the Q lands from Cursed Dom. So he's going to be able to finish off the kill as Escher just tanks up like 6 or 7 tower shots. I wasn't even counting, but it was quite a few. Mundo goes where Mundo does indeed please. He doesn't even have a single armor item yet. That was just all health regeneration and base armor. And some health, obviously. So Mundo, very, very tanky man, for those of you not aware. Very, very tanky purple beast person. I don't know if man is the correct terminology. Geranimo back to split pushing this top lane. It's been working out for him pretty well. He's able to 1v1 the only person they've ever sent to 1v1 him, which has been Doc XM's Graves. They'll probably have to send somebody else to deal with him this time, since Geranimo's actually pretty far ahead of nearly everybody else on the map here. He's got the highest CS, he's got 4 kills, he's finished off the Infinity Edge, and he's working on what appears to be a Phantom Dancer, going for a very auto-attack-centric Caitlyn. There's basically 2 ways to build a Caitlyn, but we'll get back to that in just a second. XTC4 might be finding somebody out in the jungle. Fragus is playing some Metal Gear Solid right now, but he comes out of the bush. I don't know why. He decided to go for this fight. This might actually be really bad for him. The Piltover Peacemaker comes across, finishes off the kill. Meanwhile, King of Boros is legendary, taking out Xerath all by himself, but he's going to get shut down by Antibot, who then in turn gets brought down for the double kill by Geranimo's ace in the hole. Blue buff going into Caitlyn's pockets. That's going to be wonderful for pushing, and they're just going to go ahead and go for this dive. Doc XM should not have been in that place. It was a very bad place. Geranimo is on a killing spree while Reap 22 and Escher go at it in the bottom side of the map. Hemoplague barely doing anything to Dr. Mundo. He's built very much for this Vladimir. He has lots of magic resist, and he doesn't even seem to be taking damage. His health is just continually at this like 25%, 33% sort of area. But Reap, then again, on Vladimir is doing basically the same thing. However, while both of them fight, while Vladimir fiddles, Rome does indeed burn. And Cursed Dom actually still going in. He really wanted that kill. Fraga's got the auto attack off before the animation for Dragon's Rage can complete. However, Caitlyn does manage to bring down Xerath, and Antibot's going in, getting a bit of damage, but no stun. Actually, it wasn't quite stacked up at that point, and it looks like Reap's Vladimir is actually getting the best of this extended duel here. However, Escher does have some backup in the form of King of Poros Ahri, and it looks like Reap is going to be in some trouble now. He's running away. One more Spirit Rush charge is going to get Ahri in range to bring down the Vampire. Popstar Ahri, Vampire Hunter. That sounds... Honestly, those two characters fighting each other, and with that sort of ending, it seems like I just watched some sort of cheap anime. A pop star, scantily dressed fox girl chasing down vampires and killing them with the power of her spirit. Oh god. Anyways, DocXM going back to base in style. Actually, no, he decides to stick around in the lane. Yeah, he sees... He needs the farm to get back into this game. He's 0-3-2 right now. All he's got going for him is that he's sticking around decently in terms of farm. Geranimo's doing an incredibly good job. He's got over 200 here at 21 minutes into the game. Chilling Smite going to be slowing up Curse Dom in the jungle, though, as he leaps on out of the Cataclysm. Very hard for Jarvan to lock up a Lee Sin in his ulti. He has so many ways to get out of there, and even if he's already used Sonic Wave and Safeguard, which is kind of unlikely, but even if he still has Dragon's Rage up, he can just kick Jarvan out of the Cataclysm and say, this is my arena now. I want to own this, and you are going to be running away. Ooh, the ult from XTC4 going to be enough damage, and it looks like the Sona is actually building AP. So far ahead, able to build into the Morellonomicon and a Fiendish Codex. It's a lot of cooldown reduction, going to be a lot of crescendos coming out, and some AP. So another source of damage for blue team to deal with, and they really don't have the resources to. The fact that Escher can just, like, tank the laser for a solid 4 or 5 seconds, it really shows how dominant red team is right now. Whoa, Dom having some fun with his quick-fingered combo. And they're going to swap on over to the top lane where they have already taken out the inhibitor turrets. So they're going to be able to just go after the inhibitor directly. Take that out. They've got one in the mid lane, one in the top lane. And Geranimo going for the sort of isolated 1v1 in the middle of the team fight there with DocXM. Bring him down pretty low. Fragus goes in. He gets taken down nearly immediately to about a third of his health. And there is the Right of the Arcane trying to snipe out Mundo. But Mundo is regenerating so much health that it doesn't even matter that 2 of the shots hit. He healed through the tiny little bit of duration between the shots that about 22 had to wait just to be able to fire his second shot of the Xerath ulti. In that amount of time, Mundo was healing more damage than the Xerath ulti was doing. Not to mention all the magic resistance that he had. So there's really no way for Xerath to finish off this Mundo, neither for Vladimir. King of Poros leaping over the wall nearly instantly, bursting out that Xerath, and now Fragus has just kind of given up a little bit. The Cataclysm going to be used in the last second, and the Hemoplague is going to pop on King of Poros. It brings him down, but they have traded 3 for 1. And they have people in their base still. They're still pushing up these minions. This push has been going on for the last 3 or 4 minutes. This is their second wave of super minions coming up to the turret here. The lasers are going to try and burn it down, but Curse Dom has landed the Q, landed the R onto Antibot. Brings down that kill. Dragon's Rage finishing off Annie. And it looks like this is going to be probably a victory for Red Team unless something miraculous happens. Escher tanking everything. Mundo ult is up. That means Mundo gets to go wherever he wants. And Fragus is chasing in after them. If they can land a little bit of CC into Geranimo, they might be able to get that kill, and that would be very, very important. But DocXM is dashing forward. Geranimo is unstoppable just before he gets stopped. That's a little bit ironic. Now Escher finally is going to die on Dr. Mundo after chasing through 2 turrets and 3 team members. It's quite a bit of resources they have to dump into that guy, and he's not even really all that far ahead. He's behind by 40 CS in the lane. He's down. His KDA is 2, 5, and 7. It's not really insanely good, but Curse Dom is caught out in the jungle. DocXM going to flash and dash forward to get in range for the buckshot. And the kill. Whoa, frame drops everywhere. Looks like King of Poros got traded 1 for 1, though. I am very sorry about that. I don't even know what that was. Gonna go after Dragon here. There's a little bit of a desperate play from Blue Team, though, because they have their Nexus wide open. I mean, if they can get Dragon, good on them. That's certainly not a bad thing to pick up Dragon, but this is a Sona that built damage here coming in. Antibot is going incredibly low, and the Dragon actually does go to DocXM's graves, but at what cost, my friends? At what cost? Where was the bot lane when the Nexus fell? The bot lane was taking Dragon. The Nexus didn't actually fall yet. Just for the sake of the quote. Geranimo going to clear out some chickens. It's KFC for dinner. And then swap back to the mid lane where the rest of his team is pushing, you know, the support able to 1v1 the top laner. Just because it feels like it. Yeah, Geranimo and XTC4 did quite a good job in that bottom lane. Came out a good amount ahead, have been pretty much dominating this entire game. And just making great use of that powerful front line they have as well in the form of Escher's Mundo, who can just kind of ignore most of what the enemy does and then go about doing his own thing. As you see right now, he's running right into 3 people. He's getting stunned up, he's getting slowed, he's getting damaged, but he hasn't even popped the Mundo ulti yet. Finally, he does use it as Fragus is the target of the Iron next. He flashes away from the enemy team, trying to keep himself alive a little bit longer, but Cursed Dom is going to be bringing him down. Escher actually getting the last hit there, and Dom nearly goes within 100 hit points of death 3 or 4 times there. Once again, nobody can bring this guy down. The Nexus is going to be exploding for the blue team. GG, well played from both sides. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow.